everyone. We're very excited to have you guys with us today. And Tim, do you want to talk about our roadmap today?
Yeah, we got an email from somebody quite surprising who had a question that was the same as one of our first episodes when someone asked us to do an episode on this. But I think we'll let her give her question herself.
All right.
You can click the question on it.
My dearest Anna and Tim, I simply ache from smiling. Why are women expected to beam all the time? Fortunately, my mask is hiding the fact that I am a bit displeased with virtual education in America. Well, it can be quite boring, really. Let's work on it, shall we? Boring is just not my cup of tea, you know? Well, carry on. Yours sincerely, Elizabeth R. Kisses.
Anna, I am just amazed that she pops in periodically to this show. It's just crazy.
Did you guys notice she's at the museum? That is just so amazing.
They beamed her in.
And she's social distancing, wearing her mask. That's the way to do it. All right. So after that important fan mail, we have this week's theme, which... after that, we're going to have our special guest, and our special guest will share the tool as well. And we will end with our community check-in, which I know everyone loves. So our theme today is the power of gamification. And we have our very, very special guest today, Mr. Kevin Marlatt, who happens to be my wonderful husband. His nickname to me is Mr. Incredible. So he has named himself something else, but Mr. Incredible, a.k.a. Kevin Marlatt, will take over right now, and he will share all the wonderful, magical world of gamification with us.
And use those reaction buttons. Let's give our special guest some applause.
All right. Thank you so much. Okay, let me get myself squared away here. And we'll just go there. Okay. So let me back out of this for 1 second because I want to put something in the chat to talk to you about that, okay? Okay, so I'm going to be putting a message with a link in the chat. Okay. And while we are going through this little conversation about gamification, if you would open this link in another tab of your browser, you will find yourself in a breakout room. During my presentation, you may or may not feel that you have found clues that will help you open the locks in your breakout room. And if you can open all the locks, there'll be something special for you, okay? So that's up to you. You can play or not play, but keep that in a different browser. And as you feel that you've received enough clues to open a lock, feel free to open it. You can open any lock in any order. All right, so let's move forward then. Okie dokie. So, let me just bring this into view here. So one of the things I've told my staff is if I were in the classroom now, I haven't been in the classroom for getting close to 20 years. But if I were in the classroom now, gamification would be something I would be really committed to doing. I think it is a powerful tool to layer on top of what else we're doing in terms of good instructional practice. And I think it's engaging for kids. So I'm here to, whoops, let me go back for a second. Doggone it. I don't know why that did that. It's not supposed to do
And Kevin, you said you haven't been in your classroom, but
Oh, that's true. I have not run
if
my
I know
own
you, you're in somebody's classroom about 5 times a day. But
yeah, I haven't been in my own classroom for quite a while. So that's true. But I am heavily engaged in instruction. I love instruction. Now, I'm going to be talking to you today about 5 different connections to gamification, some game mechanics, and how they are related to our instruction in class, and also connect those to 5 keys that are really important for any human being, and in particular for kids if you want them to be learners versus students. Okay? Students are very passive people. They wait on everything, and we really need learners. So how do we do that? Well, let's start talking about this. So number 1 there, autonomy. It's said that by the time the kids we know now and kids that are even in high school now, by the time they're 21, they will have had 10,000 hours playing games online or with their console box. And that's the same number of hours they will have spent in a K-12 education, right? So they're doing a lot of this. And one of the things that gaming provides to gamers, kids, is autonomy. They make a lot of decisions about where they're going to go on the map, what their character's going to do, what weapons or tools they will use in the path. They even have decisions about who they team up with when they are playing games online and even within the game. So autonomy is really a key part of gaming. And I think in instruction, when we provide autonomy to kids, they thrive. When they have choice about how they can demonstrate their learning, choice about how they will go about practicing their learning, choice about who they get to work with. All those kinds of different things provide a level of autonomy that tends to take a kid from being just a student who waits passively to be told what they're going to do into a learner who's making decisions around a path they're pursuing. So that gets to that key element for any human being, and in particular moving students into learners, is freedom. We all need freedom in some way or form. Then we take a look at the second one here, competency. So when you're playing games, you work on your competency. As you gain competency, you gain levels. And as you gain levels, you gain opportunities within the game and more freedom. Perhaps even more of these other aspects of gaming come into play as your competency increases. And that brings into mind that important area for any human being, that is that they feel success. And finding kids success in a classroom helps them move from being a timid student who is afraid to take risks, really hard to learn without taking risks, to a learner who knows that they have had success and that they will have success even as they move forward with risk. A third element of gaming that's related to our classrooms is relationships. Those are so important. It's probably one of the most difficult things right now in our current COVID world is how do we maintain the relationships, keep them strong between students and between students and their teacher, and even just we're struggling with our kids to our school overall. Do they really even feel like they're part of our school? So relationships are critical. Gaming provides that. Most games are games where you play in community. Just the other day, I'm out on recess duty, and my little cohort of kids, these happen to be 8th graders. You know how 8th graders can be, right? They all joined up in a circle, connected via their cell phones to the same game, and we're playing a game together, just sitting on the turf, playing games. And that was their chance to relate with one another. And I just took a picture. I was like, this is a recess duty. I like this kind of duty. So that was interesting. And it brings up the idea of belonging, right? Everyone wants to feel that they belong. When they belong, they feel they can really stretch out and grow. So gaming tends to produce that. The way when we can provide great mechanisms for building relationships in classrooms, we build strong learners. Then you have this aspect of feedback. So every game, I don't know if you've ever played games, I'm sure you have, there is immediate feedback. If you don't have the skill to jump over that wall, guess what? You find out real quick that you don't have the skill. And you keep practicing. And there's even little hints that come up in the game to say, think about this or think about that. When you're in a relationship with other people playing that game, they tell you, hey, think about this, think about that. Try this move in this way. And so feedback is almost immediate in games. It's one of the reasons that kids spend a lot of time with them, because they know they're going to find out what they need to move forward to become competent and be able to get more autonomy in that game. And this brings up that important aspect of purpose. Students need purpose. And when we give them feedback, it helps them build purpose, because they know where they're going, where they are now, and what to do next. Then there's this last aspect I wanted to talk to you about today, and that is story. Everybody loves story, right? Narrative is the new language of our culture right now. Just take a look at Facebook and Twitter. Everybody's building a narrative about themselves. It's all about story. Now, I'm not sure that's all great, and it can be very addictive, but everybody's into story, and games provide story. They put you in a world, in a realm, in an environment, in a role, and that is part of what brings the enjoyment of the game, is to be in it. And when we can build story, quote unquote, into our classrooms, we increase the engagement there and drive kids to be giving their best efforts within that. So 5 aspects here of gaming that I wanted to look at today, and how they connect to deep needs of human beings that tend to spur a learner versus a student. And I always, when I was in the classroom, really wanted students and not learners. So I really wanted learners and not students, right? Okay. So there is a little bit of background about gaming. And so now what I'd like to do is transition and show you a tool that may be helpful to you. There's many ways you can do gamification in your classroom. From the small things of just using dice to add chance to an activity, to a review game, to Kahoots. I'm sure many of us are using Kahoots and things like this, and GimKit and these kinds of tools, all the way up to a full gamification of all the aspects within your classroom. And so I'm going to show you a tool today that allows you to do the full gamification and manages it for you. Keep me on track here with time, guys, because I'm not really paying attention, so you just need to let me know. All right? Okay, so let's just take a quick look here. This tool I'm sharing with you is called Classcraft. It's at classcraft.com. This is the main page. You can get a free account, and almost all of the aspects I will show it to you today come with the free account. There are some aspects of sharing with other teachers and so forth that you can pay a small fee. It's not that much to have the pro version and have a few more things and a little bit more control over the overall interface. But you can get started for free and probably be very happy for a long time. My school has bought the entire school version. So everyone in my school, all teachers use it. And that then allows me to collect data about student engagement on the backside. So there's also advantages to making the full leap all the way in. So that's where you go. I'm going to go here to, this is my login, and I'm showing you a class of fake kids here, okay? So I have a little class here. Here's my students. This is the main interface once I open my class. And what you'll see here, you see these avatars. You see the large avatar here, that is Vernil. What's Vernil? Okay, these are actually fake students. I don't even know their names. Vernil, this is her avatar. Okay, and she is one of 3 types of characters that are available in Classcraft. You can be a guardian warrior, you can be a mage, which has special powers, and a healer who can provide healing powers. The point of that is that you work in a team. If you'll see down here on the lower section of this interface, those are my team members. Okay, if I click on one of them, that's this team member. Okay, so we work as a team. This brings in the social dynamic of it. When we're working in the class, working on the game, we're working as a team. We can support each other in our behaviors, in our schoolwork, and so forth. So you work as a team, and each team has at least one of those three characters, because their special powers by character are important for the overall team. Okay, so let me show you kind of what you can do here. I'm going to provide a resource to you later that will explain a lot of these gaming terminology, okay? This stands for gold pieces, which means they can buy other outfits and so forth as they earn those. XP is for experience. That's how they level up. And when they level up, they receive new powers. And those powers allow them to, like, turn in an assignment late, or get a redo on something, or an extra bathroom break or whatever. But they earn these points through schoolwork or through the teacher providing points to them based on what they see. So if I come here on this student, I click here, and I want to modify the points manually. Well, I can give this student 10 XP for showing grit. Okay, boom. They showed grit on some assignment. I just rewarded that for XP. Now, the thing about this game is you are able to put in any of the behaviors the student look for in terms of behaviors that you're looking for in kids. At our school, we have a PBIS system. We're looking for kids to show grit. We're looking for them to show optimism. We're looking for them to show that they finish whatever they begin, these kinds of things. They can be loaded in here. You can put them in, and that's the kinds of things you can give XP and gold for as you see it happening in the class. So that's one bit of it. There are some classroom tools that are helpful. So the Wheel of Destiny allows me to randomly select a kid from my class to do something. Okay. We have this thing called a boss battle. It's just a review game, much like Kahoot, but you would just be so surprised at how kids get into something called a boss battle. I sometimes think about it and say, nah, they can't really get into that. And every time I hear from the teacher, they are so into it. Basically, you create a review game where the kids answer questions while fighting a boss. Okay, so if you look right here, this is a boss. That boss has a certain number of hit points. If you answer the correct question correctly, you hit him, and he loses some of those points. But if you don't, you lose some points. And this is where your team can come in and say, I'm a healer. I'm going to protect my teammate from losing those points. I don't want him to lose that gold or that XP. So I'm coming and giving one of my powers to him. Now, that costs me something, but I get to protect my team member and so forth, okay? But my staff is having a great time with boss battles because kids just really buy in to the competition of it all. They can be done individually or as teams, either way. So that's a type of tool you have. You have these are fun just for class, random events where things might come up that says the teacher has to sing a song. Oh boy, I love that one. Actually, I took that one out of my class. After the first time I got hit with that, it got out. But there's lots of little fun things that happen just as a random, sometimes we have to have those brain breaks, right? I have some classes now that are 2 hours long at our school. They need something to break it up. This provides that. You have some stoppers, some timers, things like that to help in the class. The last thing I want to show you is something called a quest, and this is where the academics come in. You can basically create a learning path for kids from one type of assignment. They finish, they go to another type, then maybe they have a quiz, and then based on the quiz, they go to another thing, all placed within a world environment that the kids travel as they do the work. I'm going to show you just an example here. I'm going to use this one. This is actually a quest I made for my staff to learn how to do flipping of their lessons. Basically giving content remotely and then coming to class with that content. What you see here is a layout of each of the tasks in an order here as they move through those tasks, okay? When you make a task, you just come in here, you come in and you describe what the task would be. This happens to be a link to an ed puzzle, which they would go watch. and answer the questions. That's all they need to do. And as they move through it, they get certain amount of points when they finish each one. These tasks can be connected to your Google Classroom. So the assignments you've made in your Google Classroom show up right here on this map. And when they turn it in, it goes right back to Google Classroom where you can grade it. So there's a lot of integration there with this tool. Let me just quickly, if I have a couple seconds more, I'm going to show you what this looks like on the kids side. So I'm logging in as this student, okay? And I'll tell you what, I'm just going to use this intro quest here. So all students get a quest to start with so they can learn to play the game. This will just give you a sense of what a quest looks like. So what you see here is you can add video right from YouTube. It'll embed right in there.
Legends say the ancients...
And I won't go forward with that. You'll get a chance to see that in some of the other resources we're providing you. I'll start the quest. So you see here, I'm on this map. And I can see part of the map, but until I move forward in learning, I can't see everything. So I come out here and I take a look at my first thing. Now, Classcraft does provide story that you can use in your quests. There's a new story every month, and every story has 4 episodes. So basically, it takes care of the year. If you're doing a quest a week, throughout the year to provide a story that we talked about and put them immersively in it. So sometimes I find the kids don't want to read that much. They just want to get going, right? So anyway, you can do the story. They come out here. They can look at the task. Here's the task. This is what they need to do. Da-da-da-da-da. They complete the task and they earn some XP and they keep moving through. So you can see how you can build a learning path and put it into a gamified environment that they can work through. Okay, so did anybody get their breakout room open? Somebody show me thumbs. Did you figure it out?
Kevin, I'll put that link in the chat in case anybody joined us late. So.
Okay. So if you did or did not get through your breakout room, let me just show you. This breakout was made with this tool here. It's called breakout.edu. You also can get an account there, and you can make these breakout rooms. Or you can get breakout rooms already made that you can use with staff. Again, our school has a school account to this, and my teachers use this on a regular basis to help kids with content, as review games for them, and so forth. That's what I gave you. If you were able to open your breakout room, you will have gotten a link to this book, okay? This book will take you much more deeply into gamification. It's something I put together, basically a curation of resources to help you think about the elements of gamification, the vocabulary of gamification, and decide where you want to go. I'm going to do I have time to quickly jump in there? What am I looking at for time here?
Anna, you're muted.
You're muted.
Sorry. I think we're at our max, Mr.
Okay.
Marlatt.
Oh, wow. See, I knew she knew that was going to happen. Wah, wah. Right? So anyway, you're going to get this tool. It's got a table of contents. It'll take you through looking at gamification overall. I just want to say one thing. You're going to hear me. If you click on my face, you can hear me talking. I'm talking to my staff. Don't be put off by that. It still will be interesting information for you to help guide you on your journey where you can choose to go in one way or the other. There's 2 paths that connects to 2 books. All right, I'm done. I'm out.
All right. So thank you, Kevin. And Kevin will stay after the breakout rooms if you want to ask questions or ask anything else about what he just talked to us about. So Tim, I think we can go ahead and put people in the community rooms. No, you're muted.
Do you want to go ahead and put the prompt up in the screen while I put them in breakout rooms? Let's see if we got.
Yes, sir. Yes. Sorry about that. I totally forgot about that. What we want to talk today about is please share how you already include or how you might include these game mechanics in your instruction That's what Kevin talked about: autonomy, competency, relationships, feedback, and story.
Okay.
I will also put this on the chat so we don't forget.
Okay, so you guys will see an invite to join the chat here in just a minute. I will put this prompt back in there again after you're in your breakout room. All you have to do is accept when you see the prompt. And if the people in breakout room 3 could stay here, don't accept it, then we'll have you on videotape for those who want to hear your discussion. Okay, here we go. If you and Caitlin and Ugo want to unmute yourselves, and Kevin's here too, you guys can discuss. I'll go ahead and put in the prompt for everybody to see in the chat.
Oh, I did already, Tim.
Oh,
it's
great.
on there.
Okay, good. Thanks for staying in this room, you guys, so that whoever is watching the recording can hear a little discussion about what Kevin just presented. Any ideas about how game mechanics are already being used by one of you, or how you might be able to use something that Kevin's doing? I know Caitlin and Kevin are classroom teachers, but go ahead.
Yeah, and Tina, I haven't had a chance to meet you. My name's Caitlin Elliott. I teach in Douglas County. I teach at Sierra Middle School, and I teach 7th grade science.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, too. It's one of the best aspects to be able to meet so many different great people with so many great ideas. I really liked what you said about story, Kevin. It made me think about what I'm trying to bring in with the project for our Forces in Motion unit we're working on now. And I'm actually building it around what the museum is doing. Is why I reached out to Tim, and Hugo, I'll get you an email about this too, because the prompt that I'm giving them is the space exhibit's being rebuilt, and that the museum has left a corner empty, that they want them to design what could go in that corner to explain forces in the real world, where they see it impacting their worlds. So we're going to build a virtual piece of a museum exhibit by the end of the quarter. And as a experience for them, I'd love for them to be able to have that story built with a tour or something from the museum, since we're not able to do full field trips, get on the bus, everybody goes. If we can bring a different experience to them to bring in those exciting game pieces into the learning.
Absolutely. That's exactly what story is, right? Story can be putting kids in authentic roles and having them work out of those roles. So that's awesome.
Tina, where do you teach?
Actually, I'm at the Museum of Nature and Science here, and I work with our school programs. But it's so interesting as I look at these 5 aspects. Prior to working here, I was at the Boys and Girls Club, and one of the foundations of their positive youth development is what they call Buick, belonging, usefulness, influence, and competence, and just the importance of having those aspects in any program for engagement and self-confidence. And, a lot of the things you talked about are reflected within this. And you see it, like the importance. We were just on a call with Westminster, and they were talking about the importance of relationships over content and engagement first. And then the content comes, but you have to hook the kids first. And I think that's what gamification does. And I love, Caitlin, what you're thinking about as we're looking at virtual programs. How do we take these awesome ideas and bring a virtual museum experience to classrooms, or science experience or nature experience. I mean, there's so many ways you can bring this to life through these tools that you shared. And I opened the locks. I just want to share that too.
Tina did it.
Challenge.
Good for you.
Bill, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but I don't know what we're doing right now. I got a little light.
Well, you know what? Let me look at your breakout room. You should have been in a room with others, and I don't know if they ditched you or what happened. Oh, okay. Well, it looks like maybe, the person that was in the breakout room with you must have left. And so this is what you can do. If you just put down, there's a button at the bottom that says leave room. Why don't you hit that, and you can come back and join those of us that are in the main room right now. Sorry about that. Do you see a blue button towards the bottom that says leave room?
I had it, but nothing's happened.
Huh. Okay. Let me see if I.
In creating classrooms. There's some similarities there that I think could be really interesting and fun to bring together.
True. Yes. Especially for the younger kids, right? I think for middle and high school, Classcraft, what Kevin showed is perfect. Do you know if they have a different way of like different stories and things like that for younger kids?
No, I don't think that they do. I think it's the same. The key there is just what are the behaviors, what's the descriptors that you're looking for in kids that you're already doing that. When you see the kid do it in class, you're already saying, well done, X, because you want to give that positive reinforcement and that feedback around that. So I know at Honest School, it's rocks. You can put the language of rocks into the game itself. And then when you see that happen, you can award that to the kids.
Okay.
Okay.
Welcome back, Tim.
Thanks. Just so you know, Will was in a room by himself, so I popped him out so he could come over here and hang out with you guys. And everybody's coming back from breakout room. They should be back in the next minute, or less than a minute. So, hi, everybody. Welcome back from your breakout rooms. I think we still got a few people out, but everybody's almost back.
Just give it a couple more minutes. How many?
Here they come.
All right.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back from your breakout rooms. Yeah.
Welcome back. All right. We've reached the end, my friends. So the episode resources are in this folder right here. Kevin has shared some really cool resources with you, including the book that some of you opened. Tim, can you post that in the chat for us?
I will do that.
URL?
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'll put the link in there for these resources. Kevin, thanks very much for providing those to everybody. And we thank everybody for spending another half hour with us, drinking tea and sharing good ideas. We hope that you'll be here again next week when our special guest is, advance the slide, please. It's Beth Enderly, who is on the call today. She's right there. So Beth will be our special guest next week. She's going to talk about how to do the hands-on thing across a distance. If students are at home, she's currently teaching hybrid, so she'll talk about if some of them are with you and some of them are at home, how do you get them doing more hands-on and not having their head in a computer all the time while they're learning at home. So look forward to that. And we also hope that if you had a good time, you'll tell your friends to join us next week as well. Let us know what topics you're interested in as we move forward. And until next week,
live long and prosper.
All right.